Boy, you got this person, Selena doggone Baker. Homesteader, as we called her on active duty back then. First sergeant, never deployed. Talked all this stuff about the military. It's like no combat time at all. Nothing. No combat patch. None of that. And I'm sitting here like, oh, no, I deployed 3 times. Post a picture then. I don't have to prove anything to you. I'm like, no, you don't have to prove anything to me. But don't say you are a soldier that went to Afghanistan or Iraq and you can't prove it to others that are online that did go, like myself. And I posted up a picture, was like, yeah, daddy daughter challenge. This is me, that's my daughter. And we were both in Baghdad when this picture was taken. Imagine that. Called out, was like, you a doggone homesteader. And by homesteader, this is what we mean. Nowadays, they call them slick sleeves because they only have a patch on one sleeve. Because if you got a patch on both sides of your uniforms, that means you actually went to Iraq, Afghanistan. You were in a combat zone, boots on ground. Now, this one. Like, every time something would go down, contact branch. Are there any positions available for me at Fort Lee? Training base, they don't deploy. Fort Leonard Wood, training base, they don't deploy. Fort Sam Houston in Texas, training base, they don't deploy. Fort Lee in Virginia, training base, they don't deploy. Fort Jackson, South Carolina, training base, they don't deploy. Fort Knox, Kentucky, training base, they don't deploy. That's what they did. They bounced all around those training bases. Fort Huachuca. Nobody's even heard of Fort Huachuca. They're like, Fort Huachuca? What? That don't even sound right. Yeah. You all could doggone Google it. Fort Huachuca. Don't deploy. Oh. Mm-hmm. See. Well, yeah, see. But she was a first sergeant. And I'm like, yeah, you led from the rear. You were in the rear with the gear. Bottom line up front. In the rear with the gear. Now, yeah, she reminded me of a woman that I was once married to that was on active duty, Remember, she called me up. She's like, hey, I'm like, yeah, what's up? Well, I'm giving you a heads up. Heads up on what? I'm pregnant. I started laughing. It's like, come on, stop playing. No, I'm serious. I'm like, what do you mean you're serious? You're 42 years old. It just happened. I'm like, don't nobody just accidentally get pregnant at 42 years old. Stop. Wait. Oh, wait. The Army Times put out a story saying that recruiters, which she was, the recruiter command, that being a recruiter was not going to make you exempt from deploying anymore. You came down with orders to go to Afghanistan or Iraq, didn't you? Just like Tampon Tim, remember him? Kamala Harris running mate, talking about these weapons that were used in the combat zone that I used should not be on American streets, but he never deployed. Yeah, she's the same. She's the same, right? Talking about a combat patch don't mean nothing. I'm like, a combat patch means you fulfilled your obligation as a soldier. There was a war going on. You're supposed to have been in it, and you were there. That's what that means. Not no, you sat there and you just collected a check. And she was a recruiter. So I'm like, all you did was put people in the Army to do what you were too chicken shit to do yourself. Yeah, because I served with many a soldier in Iraq and Afghanistan. Male, female, gays too. Although it was don't ask, don't tell. They kept it on the low. And this one here, too chicken shit to go. It's like, And our son never saw a problem with it till he joined the military and learned what the real deal was. It's like, don't talk about the military. Dad was in every conflict that has happened. You went to none. Just leave it alone. Mom, I love you. Don't talk about military because no, just don't do it. Let's not have that argument. So that's it. But that's doggone Selena Baker. She's a flick sleeve to new standards. Old school standards, she's a homesteader, never deployed. Talk all that crap about soldier up and this and that. It's like, yeah, but when it's time to lay that doggone time on the line in the combat area, tuck tail and run. If not that, end up getting pregnant, be with child, just so they don't have to go to a combat zone. And anybody that was active duty military during the war years, they know I'm telling the truth. Deusages.